Hey guys, Jay back again from Wixwise at Fat Audio, and we've got a brand new Aerpro BABF kit to go in. Sweet. So without further ado, let's get this thing out of the box and have a look at what it comes with. Whoa! There we go. Looks good. So, main kit, obviously we've got some install stuff. And some wiring harnesses, a bit of bypass. Now we'll go through the way this has to work, because there is this big white box that we need to retain, which is basically the car's BCM and a bunch of other functions that the car needs to be able to actually still communicate. So they need to be kept. Obviously our manual, and then we'll go through how we do it all. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do in here is, this is a Fairmont gear. So basically that means it's got the factory premium audio system in there, so it's got the sub in the shelf, all the above. I'm going to get in and I'm going to jump in the boot first things first and suss out the amp, make sure we can actually get that to trigger. The BAs were a bit fiddly when it came to getting the factory amps to trigger. Some of them were data controlled, but some of the old versions were still just a basic trigger. So I'll get him apart, have a look at that, make sure we can get this amp to trigger, and then if that's the case, we just need to run some fresh signal cables and make it happen. Just have a look. That little bulge there, we have an amplifier hiding back here, so we'll get this panel off and we'll have a look. It's a data triggered one. Turns out, said factory amplifier is caca. We are not going to have any sub working regardless, but it's probably a good thing that I got in here and checked it and just made sure of it, because again, with these being a CAN bus trigger thing, they're not easy to make them work again, so you technically need to change the amp regardless. Now Jamie's on a pretty tight budget, so with this particular one we're just going to leave the amplifier not running at the moment, but I am going to drop some RCAs out of the back of the head unit, so just in case if he decides to in the future, you know, get that sub working again, we can always replace the amplifier, throw something simple back onto this plate and make it work again. I'll drop those RCAs out of the back of the head unit and that'll just keep us safe. But if that be the case, put this back together again. Oh well. All right, well, I guess we should start pulling the dash apart. Oh my God. Uh-huh. It appears that these are getting very, very brittle. Note, age and sun damage can make this panel brittle and can easily break.
Hey, at least they've got it.
I'm actually impressed that they put that. That means that when they did it, they broke it too. Yep. So that dash piece has now disintegrated into about 15 pieces, which is awesome. Always check if there's CDs, because once this is out, it's not getting powered up again. Cool. So yes, it is actually quite nice that they have finally released a Facia kit for these things. We have done a few of these where we've actually modified everything to make it work. So basically what you've got to do with these things is pretty much take all of the stock climate controls and everything, relocate all of the BCM and everything, and then custom make all of this. So it's a big job, and of course for most people it was just out of the realm of, you know, feasible for most cars. Again, it's a 15-year-old car, so not everyone's going to want to spend, you know, big dollars on it, especially, you know, $5,000+ to put a head unit in, because unfortunately that's how much work it took. So I'll throw some photos in. You can have a look at how much work was actually involved in making that thing happen. Look, I'll pay it. It definitely looks wicked in the dashboard. You can't get past the price on, you know, the Aerpro kit for what it is. So let's continue. And there it is. All right. Huh. There is the pair. Compare the pair. And now we'll get that big bastard out. So as you can see, there is our white box that I was talking about, and that's our pretty much our BCM that controls the majority of the car. So we will strip said Duva What's It out. There it is. That's our BCM. That's all I need this for. All right, we made it there. So after a couple of little issues and things to work through, we got there and it's all together and it's all in there. Now, one of the big things with these kits is they do state that it is not designed to run a full depth unit. They are designed for a mechless unit. Obviously, this is a full mech unit, so that you can make them fit, but there is a little bit of modifying back that you've got to do. So basically, where the factory ICC plug is, you basically got to cut the tack welds to get the plug out of its housing. Basically, that just allows you to move the plug up a little bit, which is where you run into the issue, because the back of the unit as a double DIN will actually hit the plug at the top part of the DIN. So pretty much if you have A double din unit with a single din chassis at the lower part, that would clear. An Alpine Halo, for example, with a single din unit, you could have the single din at the bottom and that would still clear. So that's always a possibility as well. But of course, this is the unit the customer had, and he's had this one for quite a long time. So he wanted to put this in the car, which is fine. That's in. We've got it to fit, got it to work. Yeah, let's fire it up. Now, first thing before anything else, our top piece, as we saw, it absolutely disintegrated. And of course, Murphy's Law, you can't get them really anymore in good condition with the clock in it. So we have had to do a repair on said dash piece. But look, again, like I was saying, it's one of those things, unfortunately, with a 15-year-old car, dash parts have been sitting in the sun for 15 years. I mean, it's going to be inherently brittle. You know, we know that those parts are going to be brittle, so we can let the customer know, look, there is an extremely high chance of this breaking when we pull the car apart. There you go, so you can see Sam's got that all glued back together. That's been sanded and primed now, so basically that just needs another sand, a bit of a texture coat, and should be good to go again. So that's a bonus. But regardless to that, let's go have a look at this head unit working. All right, let's fire it up. Alrighty. Look, I mean, basically this is our new panel. Obviously USBs built into the front of it to run back to the deck, which is kind of nice, having the dual USBs directly in the front. As for all of our controls, you know, standard stuff, obviously your lighting, your traction control, your door locking, all the standard stuff that would normally be on the factory fascia. And then from there, basically it gives you all of your dual zone climate controls. So if I touch a button now, it's wired up through the reverse trigger input and the video input on the unit. So it's actually an infotainment module that's built into this. So as soon as I touch a button, we'll get that switch over, and you can see we actually get our climate control all running straight through here. So you'll have your dual zone climate per side, and you've got your fan speed in the middle here. And apart from that, obviously everything else, so your standard modes, pretty easy. Obviously auto for climate, so you can just set your temperature and hit your auto. Obviously you recirculate, demist. And so that's pretty much the majority of the fascia kit itself. Aside from that, we do actually have a main menu. And just wind that fan back down. So if we go into menu, we've got some info adapter settings. So basically we can go through and adjust some settings, just timeouts, and the panel brightness, so the actual thing up here. There is an installer menu, which, I mean, obviously most people won't need to get to, but basically it just means that you can change this from a single zone to a dual zone. When this is in single zone mode, both of these temperatures will control the same thing, so it will just control the single zone, but obviously in dual zone mode, it will control both of them. So the only other thing is I'll turn the lights on. You can see we've got a little bit of a blue tinge to those lights, so it all matches up and looks nice. So it's a pretty cool kit, I will say that much. And again, for the people that want it, for these cars that are now getting to that age, you know, it is an option now to actually swap the units out. Which obviously these have been getting to that point for quite a few years now, that the factory units have been starting to die. I mean, I remember, God, close to 10 years ago, and you know, the six stackers were already starting to play up. So the fact that, you know, it's now another 10 years later, and now there's an option to actually do something about it, which is awesome. So that is good news. Looks good in the dash, works well. The other thing I actually didn't mention as well is that at the beginning, when I was worried about our sub amp switching on, this kit comes with everything ready to go for it. So it actually has the subwoofer input to the main harness and the amp trigger. So that means that that factory amplifier will actually be controlled by the fascia kit. So that's awesome. That's a wicked thing. The only thing left for us to do in here is basically get that top piece finished up, get that locked back into place, and we are all done. Nice. So there you go, guys. There's the BABF and Territory Facia kit installed. Hopefully I've added a few little extra things there that the manual doesn't sort of tell you about, and hopefully that will help you guys. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. We'll be back very soon with the next video, but until then, see you next time. All right, well, rehearse. So there you go. There is the BABF Falcon kit slash Territory kit slash thing that like sort of fits in the car, kind of, but works. So, yep, let's do that again.